up, we're getting you details from the Valley of National Security Advisor Rajnath Doval, who's back in Jammu and is also in Srinagar. Detained PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti's daughter has mocked his Kashmir visit to take stock of the security situation following the abrogation of Article 370. Iltija Mufti has tweeted on behalf of her mother, asking what NSA Doval would have during lunch with the Kashmiris this time. Remember, Doval's visit comes at a time when Kashmir remains under lockdown. Top leaders like Mehbooba Mufti, Omar Abdullah continue to remain under detention. Mobile and internet services continue to remain suspended, while all modes of public transport are still off the roads. And for the second time in a matter of a month, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has warned Pakistan of a 1971-like split if the country continues with its terror tactics. Addressing a rally in Jaipur, Rajnath said that he has time and again warned Pakistan of disintegration if it continues to export terror into India. He also said that if Pakistan repeats the mistake of 1971, then it should understand what will be the consequences for POK, a hint that India may take action inside the occupied territory. Rajnath further said that if Pakistan exports terror in India, the past policy of only targeting terror inside Pakistan may change in future. Remember, India's upped the ante on POK since August 5th last month after the centre went ahead and scrapped Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir.
मैं तो बार-बार सुझाव दे चुका हूं पाकिस्तान को भी कि जो 65 और 71 में पाकिस्तान के दो टुकड़े हो गए थे, पाकिस्तान और बांग्लादेश बन गया था। मैंने कहा 71 की गलती मत दोहराना, नहीं पीओके का क्या होगा अच्छी तरह समझ लेना।
This isn't the first time that Rajnath Singh has made mention of POK or in fact sent across a warning to Pakistan on it. Here's what he'd said earlier.
आतंकवाद को संरक्षण देने का काम, पैदा करने का काम पाकिस्तान अपनी धरती पर कर रहा है। जब तक उस आतंकवाद को समाप्त नहीं करता है तो पाकिस्तान से बातचीत करने का कोई कारण नहीं है मेरे बहनों भाई। और आगे भी जो बातचीत होगी, किस मुद्दे पर बातचीत होगी? अरे बात होगी अब तो पाक अधिकृत कश्मीर पर बात होगी बहनों भाई, और किसी मुद्दे पर बात नहीं होगी।
Well, it's not just Rajnath Singh, but several other ministers in the Modi government have spoken of POK. So has the Vice President Venkaiah Naidu.
जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के पीओके को आप भारत का हिस्सा नहीं मानते हो क्या? एग्रेसिव ना हो, जान दे देंगे इसके लिए। क्या बात कर रहे हो आप?
The remaining thing to discuss is about with our neighbor is hand over the remaining part of Kashmir to us, that is POK.
Now the next agenda is retrieving Pak-occupied Jammu Kashmir and making it a part of India.
POK is part of India, and we expect one day that it will we will have the jurisdiction, physical jurisdiction over it.
Devankur is joining us live with more details. So on this, Dev, good morning. You know, we've seen several such statements, a statement of intent that many are referring to as from the Modi government. Besides Rajnath Singh, you've had several other ministers speaking of this, and this essentially sends out a message to Pakistan to worry about POK before talking about Jammu and Kashmir.
Well, good morning, Akshita. This clearly, is an attempt by the Narendra Modi government to deflect attention from what has happened during and after the abrogation of parts of 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, which is with India. The point is that India does not want the world's attention on the Kashmir that is with us right now. It wants to know about the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and that is why repeatedly, one after another, several ministers, several high-ranking ministers in the Modi government have spoken about the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. In fact, there is a sense of unfinished business about Pakistan-occupied Kashmir that the Modi government has spoken about. And clearly in that tone, Rajnath Singh, the Union Defence Minister, when he was in Jaipur, he very emphatically and categorically mentioned that Pakistan should not repeat the mistake that it did in 1971, that it should be aware of the fact that if just that kind of a misadventure again, then what happens to POK, it will be responsible for that. Not just that, it will also mention that several people from the Muslim community were in favor of the abrogation of 370, and that is the point that Rajnath Singh made, that India is one as far as that action was concerned vis-a-vis Jammu and Kashmir, and that Pakistan should not be even thinking about any kind of misadventure as far as any attempt to aggravate the situation is concerned.
All right, Dave, thanks for joining us with all those details. Now, even as Pakistan has been completely isolated at the United Nations, Minister Jaishankar has lashed out at Imran Khan. While the Pakistan Prime Minister has claimed that India doesn't want dialogue, the External Affairs Minister has set the record straight. He's reiterated that talks can happen with Pakistan, but not with Terroristan. Jaishankar also said that the conflict between India and Pakistan wasn't about Kashmir, but a larger problem dealing with terror. The Union Minister also categorically stated that terror and cricket cannot go hand in hand, and that Indians will never allow terror by night and cricket by day.
I mean, we have no problem talking to Pakistan, but we have a problem talking to Terroristan. And they have to be one and not be the other. I think for Pakistan, it was a country which has really created an entire industry of terrorism to deal with the Kashmir issue. I mean, in my view, it's actually bigger than Kashmir. I think they've created it for India, but let that pass for the moment. Who now see that investment of 70 years undercut if this policy succeeds. Okay, so theirs is, I think, today a reaction of anger, of frustration in many ways. It's very difficult in real life to separate issues. Now, if you see some of the very difficult things which have happened between India and Pakistan. I mean, we had some years ago an attack, a very major attack on an air base in India. Then, I mean, this year we've had, you had in 2016 an attack on a military camp which killed a lot of people. This year we had a suicide attack which killed a lot of policemen. If the dominant narrative of a relationship is of terrorism, suicide bombings, violence, then you say, okay guys, now tea break, let's go and play cricket. I think that's a very hard narrative to sell to people. So there is, I mean, look, this is a democracy, sentiments of people do matter. The one message I don't want to give is you do terrorism by night and it's business as usual by day. And unfortunately, that's the message I would give if I were to follow this path.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Bloomberg Global Business Forum, wherein he called upon business leaders to invest in India. During the keynote address, Prime Minister Modi spelled out his 4 mantras for growth: democracy, demography, demand and decisiveness. Prime Minister Modi told global CEOs to invest in India as the infrastructure had made rapid progress in the past 5 years. Prime Minister Modi also assured business leaders that investment was safe and secure in India. Modi also said that he will act as a bridge between the investors and investment. During his keynote address, the Prime Minister said that the purchasing power and demand was on a rise and that India had jumped in the ranking on the Global Competitive Index. Prime Minister Modi also soon after met 42 CEOs in a bid to woo investors.
भारत की ग्रोथ स्टोरी के 4 अहम फैक्टर हैं जो एक साथ दुनिया में मिलने वाली शायद ये रेयरेस्ट ऑफ द रेयर कॉम्बिनेशन है। ये 4 फैक्टर हैं: डेमोक्रेसी, डेमोग्राफी, डिमांड एंड डिसिसिवनेस।
And let's listen in to what Union Minister Piyush Goyal said about Prime Minister Modi's speech at the Bloomberg Global Business Forum.
I think the stage is set for India to globally have its presence felt. All the enablers are there. As the Prime Minister said, we have a huge demographic dividend. We have a democracy in play. There's a huge demand with 1 billion people aspiring for a better quality of life. All the ingredients of a growing economy, an inviting atmosphere, an inviting ecosystem are available in India. And the sense we get after talking to various CEOs, various big businesses in America is that they are really eager to look at coming to India. We are going to create that enabling environment to facilitate their entry into India, to facilitate both domestic business and industry.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid out his roadmap to make India a $5 trillion economy. He asked global CEOs to invest in India and said India is best poised for investment at this stage. Why? Because India is a democracy, the demographic profile is in India's favor, India has a decisive government, and there is a big demand for goods in India. So the best opportunity to invest in India is now. And he gave various fields, whether it's infrastructure or hospitality or hospitals, several areas where he said India is open for business. With Nishant Chaturvedi and cameraman Kripal Singh at the Plaza Hotel in New York, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
And well, after Prime Minister Modi met global CEOs, India Today also spoke to the former US ambassador as well as other prominent faces in New York.
The tax cut announced last week was a huge step to drive the competitiveness of business in India and specifically new manufacturing in India, right? And we think it creates an opportunity not just for Boeing but for all companies to recognize the talent base of Indian manufacturing and to start up new manufacturing activities, whether that's Boeing or anybody else. India has moved to 77th in the world from the mid-100s in terms of ease of doing business under this administration. That is a huge improvement. And it's tremendously important for India to continue taking those steps on increasing the speed of decision making and continuing to make changes to its tax regime.
India's position globally being redefined. And that is what the CEOs themselves felt. It was unprecedented what happened in that room today. We had 42 global leaders from across 20 sectors, present in over 200 countries. That's 7 more than the UN. In fact, close to 30 of these global leaders flew in specially from out of the city and out of the country, some of them, only to be with the Prime Minister. And the total net worth around that table today was $14.6 trillion.
Prime Minister is really marketing the reforms and the Indian kind of investment climate, and I think there's a lot of receptivity to that. I think people are optimistic about where India is headed. There are short-term concerns, regulatory issues, ease of doing business issues. These are handled in the normal course, but I think there's general sense of optimism. And people want to be invested in India, and they want to be there as a partnership. They also are looking for Indian investments in the United States too. So I think this is very much a two-way.
Well, 2 weeks after an illegal banner killed 23-year-old techie Subhashri in Chennai, Jai Gopal, the main accused who had put up that illegal banner, is still absconding. Cops are unable to trace his family either. The Madras High Court has come down heavily on the Tamil Nadu government and the police, grilling them on why the accused, who is an AIADMK leader, is still at large and what the cops were doing when the banner was erected. The opposition is up in arms and they've lashed out at the government, accusing them of shielding the AIADMK Neta and also demanding that the investigation be transferred to the CBCID. Now, while the Tamil Nadu government rubbished the claims, assuring that all measures are being taken to ensure justice for Subhashri, the techie's family, yet to come to terms really with their daughter's death, fear that they will never get justice. Keep in mind, 23-year-old Subhashri was riding her two-wheeler when an illegal AIADMK hoarding collapsed on her and she was run over by a speeding truck.
Unplanned murder na solra unplanned murder da enu ketta அவங்க பாருன்னா இந்த பேனர்னு ஒன்று வைக்காட்டி இந்த இன்சிடென்ட் நடந்திருக்காது. இந்த பேனருங்க இன்சிடென்ட் வந்து ஆக்சிடென்ட் கன்வெர்ட் ஆகிட்டு. இது விதிக்கு சம்மந்தமே கிடையாது. அவங்க வந்து கவர்மெண்டோட சட்டத்தை மதிக்காமல் அவங்களுடைய செல்வாக்கை பயன்படுத்தி வைக்கிறது பொதுமக்களை பாதிக்குது. இன்னைக்கு நான் பாதிச்சிருக்கேன், இன்னொரு இன்னொருத்த பாதிப்போம் இதே கண்ட்ரிஸாக இருந்தால். அதை இதை வந்து ஸ்ட்ரிக்டாக கண்டென்ஸை எடிகேட் பண்ணணும் ஃப்ரம் ஒரு கம்யூனிட்டிலேருந்து ஃப்ரம் சொசைட்டிலேருந்து. இந்த மாதிரி கல்ச்சர், இந்த மாதிரி பரணம் வைக்கிற கல்ச்சர், அதாவது சென்டர் பண்ணி வைக்கிறது, நடு ரோட்டில் வைக்கிறது, அது மாதிரிலாம் ஃபுல்லாக இது பண்ணணும், எடிகேட் பண்ணணும், எலிமினேட் பண்ணணும், ஃபுல்லாக ரூட்டட் பண்ணணும். அந்த ரூட்டை பிடிங்கி எரிஞ்சிடணும், இந்த வேற பிடிங்கி எரிஞ்சிடணும்.
This clearly establishes that the ADMK government is shielding the accused persons. If the police are given a free run, I don't think the accused will run like this. He will not hide himself. He will submit himself to the jurisdiction of law. But the ADMK, I think, has given clear instructions not to do anything. And this is the party which says they are working for the welfare. They are not even able to bring justice to a girl who died an unnatural death due to the illegal banner kept by the ADMK party. This shows their callousness and this shows their attitude towards enforcement of law.
Poster announcing the wedding of Karthik, the son of S. Jayagopal, is still new outside the residence of Jayagopal in Chennai. What we're seeing is for the last 13 days, the entire family have gone missing from here. In spite of repeated inquiry by the police department, it is stated that for the last 13 days, the whereabouts of Jayagopal or his family members is unknown. In fact, talking to the residents and the neighbor in the area, it's been stated that from the day of the wedding, that is September 12th onwards, Subhashri was killed. From that day onwards, there has been no real information regarding Jayagopal or any of his family members. They're all said to have left the premises and there is no way to establish contact with them, is what the tenants have also repeatedly said. They've said that the phone numbers are switched off and there is no real way to communicate to the family members yet. But the big question is, how long will it take for the Chennai police to nab these people? It's been 13 days since the death of Subhashri, a girl who was killed because of a banner illegally erected by Jayagopal, an ex-councillor of the AIADMK, the ruling party. With camera person Daniel from Chennai, this is Akshanath for India Today.
And moving on, in fact, Sharapova, the NCP chief, has dared the enforcement directorate over the FIR in the money laundering case. He said that he would personally appear before the probe agency on Friday. Sources in the enforcement directorate, however, told India Today that they have not summoned the NCP chief for questioning. The agency will first record the statement of promoters and directors of sugar cooperative factories, and later he will be summoned for questioning. The ED is going through records in the alleged 25,000 crore rupees bank scam, which spans from 2007 to 2011.
Friday 27th September को दोपहर के 2 बजे यहाँ के ईडी का जो दफ्तर है वहाँ मैं खुद स्वयं जाने वाला हूँ और जो कुछ उन्हें जांच करनी है वो जांच करने के लिए उनके सामने अवेलेबल रहने वाला हूँ।
माननीय उच्च न्यायालय के आदेश के अनुसार और जो कानून है उस कानून में ये सारी कार्रवाई चल रही है। इसमें सरकार का कोई हस्तक्षेप नहीं है। ईडी राज्य सरकार के अंडर आती भी नहीं है। जो भी जांच है वो जांच ईडी हो चाहे मुंबई पुलिस हो वो जांच करेगी। जांच में जो गुनहगार रहेंगे उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई होगी। जिनका कोई गुनाह नहीं होगा उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई करने का कोई प्रश्न नहीं उठता। कि चुनाव के मद्देनजर हर चीज़ को ये कहना कि सरकार बदले की भावना से कर रही है, सरकार हमको टारगेट कर रही है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये बिल्कुल बेबुनियाद है, बेसिर पैर है, बिल्कुल गलत है।
Mustafa is joining us live from Mumbai with all the latest details on the story. Mustafa, good morning. You're seeing this massive face-off between political parties. The enforcement directorate has also now been dragged into this entire controversy over the bank scam. Give us a sense of why Sharad Pawar has said that he'll appear before the ED, because the agency claims that they haven't even summoned him.
Well, Sharad Pawar is trying to take political advantage of the entire situation, and so are other opposition parties, because obviously the timing of this summons are being questioned, because even in the High Court ruling, Sharad Pawar's name was not mentioned in this MSEB bank scam. Also, Rajnath Singh, who is a senior BJP leader, he has also said to inform the media that while he was the leader of opposition, Sharad Pawar's name never came up in this MSEB Bank's case. So what is happening really is that Sharad Pawar is saying that he'll be out on the tour of Maharashtra for election campaigning, and he's only available on Friday. So he is going there so that he can build up this narrative that he is being targeted as the most senior leader of the opposition party and Maharashtra, so that emotions can rally towards his party, NCP.
Okay.
Of a lot of leaders have recently joined the BJP for the upcoming elections. Back to you.
Right. Mustafa, thanks for joining us with all those details.